Welcome to Salcedo Paranormal. It is Friday, February 18th, 2022, and today I'll be finishing our look into haunted music and sports venues with some more of the latter, the sports venues. As always, to find all episodes of the podcast, as well as all links and ways to contact me, you can visit the podcast page, which is salcidoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. There you can find ways to donate or to contact me. Always looking to hear from you all. Whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions for the show, excuse me, or you have stories of experiences you'd like to share, experiences that you've had, or other experiences. Excuse me, lost my place. So whether they're your own experiences or others that you know, always looking to share those with everyone. And you can either send those in a text format, or if you would like, you can join me on the live streams on Discord for the for the show. Basically, I record the streams and then put them out as podcasts and YouTube videos. So, always looking to hear from you all. Thank you all for listening, whether it's to the live stream or to the podcast or to the YouTube video. Always appreciate it. And hello to everyone in chat. I see you there. Thank you for being here. So, also a couple things. If you listen to this live, or if you want to go back, I'm sure everything will be recorded as well for everything else I'm going to talk about here. I'm going to be on another show tonight on the 18th of February. Shift Happens on the Fringe FM. So I'll be on there at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, talking for a couple hours about my experiences, and then I think just the general discussion about the paranormal as well. So that'll be fun. Also, as of right now, it looks like I have a couple of great shows for the next 2 Fridays lined up. Going to be having a friend of the show, Jen, on with me. We were going to do it once before, and it didn't work out for various reasons, but looking forward to next Friday talking about my favorite movie, Beetlejuice. And then the Friday after that, Jen and I will be talking again, and that time we'll be talking about cryptids. I know I did an episode about that, but as I said back then, there's so much to talk about. I don't think it'll be a problem. We'll find more stuff to talk about, and looking forward to both of those shows. So, I believe that covers everything. And so from there, I will get back to this article that I put in the chat already, and I'll share in the episode description. This is about haunted sports arenas, sports venues. And again, this is the second part of our look into haunted music and sports venues. We did the music last week, and we started the sports. I'm not sure if it was last week or not. I forget now. But recently, anyway, we did that. And this week, I'll get as far as I can into this article. I may leave the last few entries for others to check out on their own, just because there's a lot of reading there to do. So, but at least we should be able to get through a couple of these places and go from there. So, this first one we're going to talk about is actually the second one in this article. Like I said last week, we went over the first location they talked about. But now I'm going to look into St. Mary's Stadium in Southampton, the United Kingdom. So, let me see here. This stadium is apparently was created in 2000s, early 2000s. And apparently it was named after a nearby church that founded the team. And apparently has over 32,000 seats. And of course, fans, basically when the game started there, once this team moved there, they apparently could not win any games during their first season at this new stadium. And so fans started looking for reasons for this. Some said there was rumors that this is just interesting. This is like, I guess, modern folklore. Some rumors, some people thought that a rival had buried a shirt under the stadium during construction, and then which jinxed the team. But others thought there was, oops, I lost my spot. Others thought there was something more. Apparently, there are a lot of things that started happening that people couldn't explain around that same time. And there was one worker who said he was afraid to go into the main stadium at night because people would report shadows and hear voices in the stadium. But so that's interesting. That makes you wonder if that's residual from games or if it's just other things that were there before the stadium was put there. Apparently, the stadium had also been built on an ancient graveyard. Well, there you go. And apparently it was actually an ancient graveyard, but this is like going back to an Anglo-Saxon settlement. And apparently there were graves and remains found there before the stadium was made that dated back to the 7th century, that's pretty far back. And apparently it's still an active archaeological site. There are people still finding things under the ground in that property from that same era. So apparently the team brought in a pagan witch in hopes of ridding the angered spirits, it says. And just looking to see how it went. So just hours after this person performed a ritual there, well, this is interesting. The team won their first game in the new stadium. Yeah, so that's interesting. It makes you wonder, did all their belief in this ritual working help kind of get them in the right mindset, kind of get them out of the wrong one, maybe? And they believed in this original idea of a curse there enough so that once they thought that this person could get rid of it, they started winning again. So just looking here, and it makes you wonder if there was still activity there. It doesn't really say, but I would wonder if there was any more activity at the place after that. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't say in the article that I can find. Um, but yeah, so that's an interesting situation there. That's kind of like a similar thing to people having strange activity in their homes, and then they call someone to come and fix it. And sometimes it works, and other times it doesn't. And I think there's just so many variables as to why it does or doesn't work that you know, I don't. Again, with all this, I think it's never quite as simple as um, you know, one cause or even one solution. Maybe sometimes it's possible that it is, but not always. So, but we'll go on to this next location here. Let me see. Find my spot again. Okay. Now this is the University of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I apologize if I'm not. And I've actually heard of this university, I believe. I'm just for anyone that doesn't know, I do not follow sports at all. So, this is strictly. I'm mainly looking into this just for the paranormal aspect of everything. So, just in case anyone is thinking, how does he not know about this place or that team or this team? That's just because I don't follow sports. So, there you go. I guess I'd probably hope to say that in advance. But so let's see what this one says. Apparently, it's filled with various legends and ghost stories. So much so that the admissions department apparently showcases many of them on its website. That's interesting. I might have to look into that. And apparently it's not just the stadium that has activity. It's all over this campus. So that's interesting as well. So there have been reports of several deaths in or near the building over its long time being there, which apparently is over a century, including a professor, steeplejack, and I believe that's someone that works with the higher points of a building, a student, and a football star. Oh, and there goes the wind. Interesting. It's been kind of windy out here lately. So, and also there's one of the people that passed there or that died there was, I'm not sure if it was a national star, but a local football star at the very least. And apparently his name is George. I'm not sure if it's Gipp. It's Gipp. So the story, basically the ghost story goes that this man was a senior. He stayed out past curfew one night and was locked out of his dorm when he came back. And so he had nowhere to go, and so he slept on the steps outside the this one hall, Washington Hall, performing arts building, music venue. And apparently he got pneumonia because of this, because it was so cold out, and ultimately died soon after. So a lot of people say that he's still there, over 100 years later. So it says students and staff and the faculty members there have felt a presence despite being alone, heard footsteps, and objects have been moved, including curtains. Interesting. Different brass instruments, so like horns and all that kind of stuff, I guess, have been heard playing, even though there's no one there to play them. A lot of student reporters, as well as professional ghost hunters, have stayed in the hall, hoping to contact whoever's there. But not much has really been recorded, according to this article here. So, let's see here. Apparently, apparently this football player has been seen at least once near that building after he had passed. And again, it mentions the horns, hearing the sound of horns playing, but no one ever finding the person playing the horn, or even the horn in some cases. So, I'm just looking here further. So, but apparently there is, this is mainly just this, there's that story, but apparently there are parts of it that are not totally accurate. So, that just shows you never know when you hear these stories about these ghosts and how they passed her, and then what they do after, possibly. Sometimes stories are made up to be more frightening than what they really are, or more graphic than they really are. So that is the end of that one. That's one of those. I have to look into that website, because that's interesting. They even have a section on their website about the reported hauntings there. So, just looking, okay. Looking to see how we were doing on time. Not sure if this is going to be a super long episode tonight, because I have to kind of have a break in between this and then the other show I'm going to be on later. But this next place it mentions is the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto, Canada. So, let's see here. Visitors have reported seeing a woman with long dark hair, mostly in and around the second floor women's restroom there. Apparently this is, let's see here. This Hall of Fame was moved. It wasn't its own building. It was basically more like an exhibit, and it's been moved from one building to another, which is the Brickfield Place complex. And this building was apparently built originally in 1885. That's over 200 years old now. And it used to have the Bank of Montreal in it as well. So, now apparently they have the story of this woman that's seen there. And it's believed that she was a former bank employee, named Dorothea, I think. So it says, according to the story, in 1953, this this woman took her own life in the bathroom in the bank. Or at least she tried to, and then she passed away the next day. Apparently, no story agrees on what caused her to do this, and there hasn't been any confirmation of any one story. But apparently, there have been reports of a ghost there named Dorothy. Now, that's interesting. It makes you wonder how people knew the name of the spirit, if that's who it is, if that kind of just came to them. You do hear of that sometimes in places. People will just say it feels like their name is this. And it's really an interesting idea of how does that happen. Does the spirit contact people in their minds somehow? Maybe even on a level they're not totally aware of. The living person is not even totally aware of. They just get a feeling. I think that's definitely possible. So, but apparently after this woman had passed, workers began experiencing strange things shortly after. The bank said that there would be lights that would, bank employees said there would be lights that would turn it on and off. Doors and windows would open and close on their own. They'd hear strange noises like footsteps when no one else was around, or even shrieking, which that sounds terrifying. Some employees would step away from their work, I guess their station, for a minute, and they'd come back and find the things on their desk all unorganized. But the main thing is they would just feel this presence, like there was someone else there watching them. And apparently got to the point where this restroom that had a lot of activity in and near it was had so much activity that there's people didn't want to use this one restroom, so another one had to be put in the building for people to use that one instead. Bank eventually moved, it says, but the people that have been in the building, which apparently that part of the building is now the Hockey Hall of Fame, have heard similar noises and had similar experiences in this building. So apparently there was a young boy that was part of a tour of this hockey museum. He was on a tour with his parents and other people, and at one point this boy stopped in his tracks and started staring at a wall. And someone asked him what was wrong, and he said, can you see her? So no one could see anything, but the young boy kept on saying he was seeing a woman with long dark hair walk in and out of the wall, and he couldn't believe no one else could see the woman. I wonder if that bathroom was ever boarded up, or at least turned into a different room, and so there used to be a door there. That makes me think of that. Or it could just be, if this is an intelligent spirit, I mean, they could just enjoy surprising people that can see them by walking in and out of the wall. It's hard to say. So apparently there's been enough activity that their ghost tours stop by there, and sometimes they even use that building as the beginning of their tour. So that's interesting. But that's, now here's something else that you see sometimes. This Hockey Hall of Fame, excuse me, did not respond to this article. The people writing this article, they didn't want to comment. But they allow the tours to have events on Apparently on the second floor, or at least one group they allowed. But they don't talk a lot about it, I guess. So, um, so let's see here. Talks about this Halloween event they had. And apparently, during the final part of this event, one man left to use the restroom, but the men's restroom. When he came back, he went to one of the guides and he said that he heard what sounded like a terrified woman screaming in the restroom next door. He was apparently really shaken and he wanted to know if anyone else heard it, but apparently no one else did. So, but apparently because of where everyone was at, they should have. So, and let me see here. So yeah, it just seems like there's a lot of activity. And it seems like it's all focused around this one, at least the story is it's focused around this one spirit. So that's interesting. I wonder how much of that is maybe the original spirit that was there, and then how much is all the attention that has been focused on that story and that and then that woman, whether she's there or not, to generate that kind of activity. So, yeah, it's a lot of questions there. But let's see here. We'll go on to this next one. I just want to see how many are left. Because if there's a lot left, then I might do one more and then stop. Just bear with me one moment here while I check on this. Okay, there's two more, but they're kind of long. So, unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to end this little review of these places here. There's a couple more places in the article you can check out if you want to. So it's been a lot of fun looking at all these music and sports venues these last couple weeks. It does seem like so many places, and I bet you if I looked, I could find articles with even more music and sports venues that are said to be haunted. And I just wonder how much of that is because of the nature of places like that, where there's people in there for maybe short periods of time, and you're all focused on this one event that's going on, and so there's all kinds of energy maybe that could be generated from that, and then everyone leaves, but then if that energy stays behind, what does that do? You know, and if there does that draw spirits there to those places? Is that why there's activity there, or is it because of events that happen there, and there's already spirits there anyway, and then all that energy, they're just able to use that at different times to do different things? That's kind of what I wonder. What is it with so many of these places that you hear about activity, but it seems like it's always stuff that happens when there's hardly anyone else around? Now, of course, that doesn't mean that there can't be activity when everyone is around, but one thing I think I would guess is it would be harder to spot any kind of activity. Maybe if the place is crowded, you might not be able to hear or see a lot of things. Or if there's spirits walking around these places in the middle of crowds, you might just think it's a regular person. So, lots of interesting things to consider there, I think. I know I've heard stories about people were in homes where there were large families, but then eventually, as people started to move out of a place, the people that remained there would start noticing strange things happening, and they'd wonder, was this happening before? And we all just wrote off as, oh, this person moved that object, or I was just hearing that person walking around. Just that just raises a lot of questions about all that. So, but yeah. So that's why I wanted to do. That was my whole reason for doing those couple of episodes there, because that's the kind of stuff I really, really wonder. So, but yeah, I hated to leave those last two, but again, there's a lot of reading to do there, and I don't really feel quite up to that much more tonight. So, but thank you all, as always, for being here. No matter when you are able to arrive, or whether you listen to this show live or on the podcast feed or the YouTube videos, I always appreciate it. So Monday will be more true paranormal stories from the web. Tuesday and Wednesday, the plan is more true ghost stories from the web. And then another book review next Thursday. And then, like I said, next Friday, the plan is to talk with Jen, friend of the show, about the movie Beetlejuice, because it's my favorite movie, and I think there's a lot to unpack there as far as the paranormal, connections to the paranormal, and references and all those kind of things. So it still cracks me up that I did that episode a little while back about my favorite paranormal TV shows and movies, and I'm just so used to not even thinking about it. Like I barely even, when I put that question to myself, I just skipped right over Beetlejuice because that's my favorite movie. So I didn't even cross my mind to go into that. But that worked out. So I'm not complaining. So thank you all for being here, and I will talk to you all on the next show on Monday. Have a good night, and talk to you all next time. Again on Salcedo Paranormal.